What's up, guys? This is Clues Crypto here today to talk about Veve's most recent AMA. This is my first video on the channel, but today we're going to try to keep this video as concise as possible, hopefully around 10 minutes. This is an hour AMA. The video will be in the description. I have notes for key points on my video here to the right, so you can click along with that. Here we go.
Choose for people.
Yep, absolutely. So to kick off with the second one with the security updates, obviously, as you guys know from our previous AMAs, I know that's going back a while, but we are doing a lot of work to keep bots out of the system. And often that is, finding a right balance. Sometimes that balance might go a little bit too far and, we get what's called a false positive, and we're seeing that security requirement message.
So yeah, this is an important part right here. Everyone's complaining about bots for the past weeks, months. Everyone sees all these ads for all these different phones, buying a bot on a phone, but they're going to the extent of banning accounts that shouldn't be banned as a mistake. So I think that highlights how hard they are trying. The rest of this security part, as I said, I'm going to be kind of moving through this pretty quick. They talk about a lot of the same things multiple times. In at different times in the video, but that was kind of a key point I wanted to see here. So 410, here we go.
Some of them may not really be that apparent,
upgrading the
but the dev team's working very hard just to try to make the overall experience better. Now, one of the features that we will be working on very early in Q2 is upgrading the search system. So it's just a lot easier. You can search by edition numbers, you can have better filters, you can search for comics, all of that stuff. So
and I think these things are obvious. Like, they could do, you've seen working apps like across the app store, like Instagram or whatever it may be. And all that requires is paying the right amount of money to have someone go in there and do it correctly. And you don't think Veve has the money to go do this correctly and has reference to what's good and what's not. Like, they're busy, they have a lot of other things going. But he goes on to talk about how they are aiming to target the marketplace first. That's kind of their plan of attack, and how, that makes the most sense to me, right? Like, out of anything that I would want you to target, it wouldn't be these bookmark issues. And he's like, bookmarks, like, will work for 6 months and they'll have to go in and fix it. I mean, imagine being a new company and also having issues that you have to fix. It's like, it's a lot to manage. So give them their time and space. Come on, people. Long term.
And
talking about KYC.
Landing a drop. I know I'm frustrated as well. I have not landed a drop in many, many moons. Let's talk about some of the things that we're doing to improve the way people experience the app from a security standpoint, to make sure that KYC.
From our perspective, we will absolutely be introducing KYC into the app. I mean, ultimately, we want to make sure
obviously, right? And I'm going to talk about this more. You kind of have to move through this video a bit to really connect all the pieces, because KYC is really the first piece, and everyone's complaining about how they haven't done cash out, which is the next piece that I'm going to talk about. But in order to do cash out, you have to have KYC. So that comes first.
We will actually need to make laundering compliance here. And ultimately, as part of the KYC and the anti-money laundering compliance here in New Zealand, there are a few updates that we will actually need to make on the app in order to comply, and also to help combat the points like Alex just mentioned. So one of the first features that will be updated within the next week, I believe, is the removal of gem transfers.
I mean, obviously, this has been coming. We all know what's going on. So we've seen all the ads. Gem transfers have got to go. So, I mean, in order to even do a cash out, right, to have an MTL system, you have to have KYC. And in order to do that, we have to get rid of the transfer system. So there's steps to this.
282 plus jurisdictions or regions,
I kind of jumped in the middle of him talking, but yeah, this is kind of the cash out part.
countries, sales tax. And these are the digital tax and the sales tax that you will normally face day to day in each of the shops that you go and to retail. Right now, in a lot of these regions, that Veve as an app is bearing all these costs. So therefore, the just giving you an example, the $100 jams that you purchase, when it does land into our bank account, sometime it's as low as we only get 55% of that.
Y'all understand this, right? I mean, this is because it's on the App Store, because it's on the Google Play. You know, there's percentages down to everything. So they're not making as much as you think they are in the first place. And yeah.
So to balance the ecosystem a bit better, we do have to introduce these withdrawals, and there's a couple of reasons why we brought this in.
So I'm gonna save him some breath right here. He goes on to talk about how he never intended to have a payout in the first place. 1625 in the video. Go check it out. That threw me off because he even says, he's like, yeah, other projects, this is built into the beginning phases of it, but for Veve, you know, they didn't really have that plan. And in my mind, that's because it was tied with a Comey. You know, maybe they had it to where it was just going to be transferred out in gems and they were going to get their percentage. But I think there's a way for them to actually make money off this. So the MTL makes sense. And he later in the video talks about how, you know, they've been having issues with it. You know, they're in beta right now, and there's a certain amount of people that are getting it. And they even say it's like, it's not just random people, it's beta testers specifically who are getting this. So they are rolling it out, but there has been issues with it. So there's no reason for them to be rushing this to the market. And I respect that as a company. You know, some of my favorite things that they said were right here towards this 19-minute mark. And they're saying they're serving a global customer base, and they're super aware of that. You know, they're in New Zealand, Australia. I mean, their workforce is global, their customer base is global, so you have to be aware of that. One of my favorite parts right here as well. Everyone complains about all these small things, and Dan's like,
absolutely is moving up the list, but there are, you know, I don't want to prioritize comics and showroom over payout or over the web platform or over KYC. I mean, these are core fundamental things that we, as a business, we should be focused on. However, we do are still.
Okay, so I mean, he said it right there. Like, people complaining about all these extra things, you know, the marketplace on the app not being up to date. It's like, hey guys, just like be aware of all of the different things that they are already implementing, and quit complaining about comics. But it's like, all right, yeah, like he even says right before this, he's like, obviously, you know, I'm going to take care of comics. We're going to go on to talk about the wait list right now.
And yeah.
Okay. Waitlist, commonly known as the drop queue, or basically
in our finger in the West. Waitlist is coming along very well. That is has been in our staging test environment for a number of weeks now. We've run a number of test drops. Everything's gone very well. We're still in the process of doing the load testing, which basically you know, just confirms that the waitlist will work very well under pressure with, you know, 100,000 to 200,000 users trying to join.
So this goes back to the beginning where we were talking about security and getting those error messages. The waitlist is going to fix all of these things. You know, the server load where they're actually designating queue times instead of it being just like everyone press the app at the same time, press the button on the app at the same time. It's going to help. This goes along with gems as well, not having to have gems in your wallet ahead of time. And on top of that, it's just going to be more democratic as a whole. You know, he said that, and that makes perfect sense to me. Eventually, the wait list will be every time. It's going to help. Yeah, it's gonna allow you probably to get more drops because the bots aren't going to be taking it. I mean, KYC is going to be implemented hopefully by this point. But MCP on the wait list is also talked about, and that's a really important piece that everyone cares about. So, and I care about the most. Like I'm on the app just commenting and liking every day. I don't think people are aware that gives you
Let's
points.
talk about MCP, Master Collector Program. Where are we with that?
So MCP is still going along well. I think we've got the majority of the back end work done. The developer, I was just talking to the developer the other day about some of the final calculations.
I mean, in this part, they pretty much just go check the medium, and I'll have that linked in the description as well. But, you know, look at the medium. I'll make another video later about that, but they basically we've already covered it. They're super aware of it. It's always calculating. MCP will give you, you'll have multiple entries. You'll be able to go in there, but I'll do a video directly on MCP later. So this is where it gets really interesting.
With Immutable X, when is interoperability happening? Can we see the metadata and the Mutiscan data, sales history data, so people can make better and more informed decisions about what they're buying on the market and can see
when interoperability? Come on now.
Generally, the who has owned these things before, and can just generally be more informed about the ownership of their collectibles.
Yeah, so two points there. So number one, in terms of the historic value and the ownership, that is something that we'll be building into our platform.
So I mean, these things are they've already said that they're doing them. People have been like, Veve's not this, not that. They literally are saying that they're already planning to do all this. Look 28 minutes into the video. When interoperability, I mean, that's going to come after KYC. That's going to come after cash out. That's going to come after waitlist. They say that they're not going to be rolling out the website until after the waitlist is in full effect. So, you're basically just kind of waiting for that. Once that happens, then you can be looking for that. You'll be able to see all ownership on the platform. Metadata is coming. They're working on that. This is a super important piece. I love to hear this because I was confused about this on IMX
platform.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yep. Right. Yep. So we're working very closely with them. Just keeping up to date on where they're at with the marketplaces and various features that we need to roll that out.
All right. Perfect. All right, David. Let's go back to you. We've been kind of mentioning,
So I think I cut him off a little bit early on what he was talking about, but IMX is still onboarding OpenSea. It's going to be this data aggregate. It's going to be this central hub. I honestly, understanding layer 2 is sometimes confusing for me. I've been in crypto for 2.5 years now, but there's definitely pieces of this. What IMX is going to be and the scale of it. If it's also onboarding OpenSea to it, it's going to be so much bigger than I ever thought. But you have to understand that these NFTs that are getting updated, it's on IMX's end. It's not on Veve. IMX is their own platform, own company, and Veve's partnered with them. So people complaining about Veve not doing this and not doing that, you better start going to IMX and calling and complaining to them, being like, hey, you guys need to take care of Veve first. So that's something to be aware of. We're going to jump to the website. Oh, my gosh. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. I mean, this is going to be amazing. I mean, this is just going to change the entire game. Once this is actually on the website and it's looking like this, I think all of these NFTs are easily going to 10x, 100x. No financial advice on that, but just my opinion. And this is at the scale of which Ecomi is going to be tied to this. And they talk about this at different times. When the website rolls out, it'll only be waitlist drop model. He says that just so everyone knows, we're basically just waiting for the waitlist drop model. So, the website's not coming until that's in full effect. Ecomi integration. I thought this was a good piece right here too.
For those who have OMI in their OMI wallet, that will also be reflected in the web platform as well, as opposed to having to go to the separate
Yep,
web
that's
wallet
correct.
address.
Actually, I didn't show the profile section, but yeah, you have full control over all of your wallets exactly in the same way. And eventually,
I mean, so at this point we're selling a crypto. So the entire crypto market has access to this. Ethereum whales. Right now, the floodgates aren't even open. I think people take that for granted and don't really understand the opportunity at hand. People, the actual investors in in these types of things in the first place have their money elsewhere, and it takes a very niche and aware market to come in here this early. So I'd be scooping them floors. Website looks amazing. Yeah, that was kind of my opinion. That's what I wrote down. Website looks amazing. Just going through it. Yeah, I mean, it looks exactly like the app, honestly. Okay, so yeah, so people have been complaining about that Ukraine drop. I'm gonna try to wrap this video here up right around the 20-minute mark, but people have been complaining about that Ukraine drop and how it wasn't going to be anything good and how they're reselling these different items and they're making money off charity or whatever it may be. And I think it's really important to note that they donated $782,000. They took into account the Apple fees as well. So like they covered the Apple fees. I mean, like, what more do you want from them? And this is directly from Red Cross. So here we go.
To Veve, the whole Veve community. This is an incredibly generous contribution. It's $782,000 towards the Ukraine crisis. We know that families and communities are really suffering, and the work of the Red Cross in the Ukraine and also in neighbouring countries means that those individuals and families can be supported through what is just an extraordinarily difficult time. So to David, to Veve, and to the Veve community, thank you so much for such an amazing way to support those in the
I mean, this is so cool. They go on to talk about how there's going to be more donations. I think that's really important to look out for. This is going to be a recurring thing. Veve is definitely going to be involved. I think that's super cool. So they're aware that this isn't just something that gets fixed overnight. You know, you donate and the conflict's over. So they're going to continue to make efforts in that area, and that's awesome. So let's talk about promo codes.
Of Veve. We getting a lot more interest from our licensors and artists and partners about some form of real world utility.
Yeah,
and obviously we needed a way that we could link that. So let's say you go to event X, the ticket you have has a promo code on it, which we obviously work with our partners to provide. And then that promo code can be entered into Veve to get specific and dedicated collectible drops related to that particular event. And obviously this could apply to many, many different things. So we are going to continue building on the promo feature.
Yeah, so this is super cool. Physical brands are coming, physical NFTs alike, NFTs and physical alike. They're going to talk about this. They're saying there's going to be one-on-ones on the website, NFTs and physical alike. They said that they're going to have to, how do you sell an NFT and then it gets resold and then you are trying to send the physical item? Like it's really confusing. So they have this planned out, and they're saying that they're going to go in and basically make it to where you'd have to hold it, or it's of so much value that you wouldn't want to sell it, or it's locked in your account until a certain amount of time, or there's going to be different ways to go about it, but they're aware of this, and I think it's really cool that they're going to be bringing this to the platform as well. I thought this was super cool. So DeLorean,
but this will only be upgraded to the interactive editions that you own. All right, so there are 2 of the 3 edition that's interactive. So those 2 will be, and
So the DeLorean now, so this is something that people have been questioning or concerned about as well. Can they go in and update these things later? And the answer is yes. They're going to be able to edit anything, give access to whatever. They're the ones in control of all of this metadata, or in control of everything on the app, or in terms of these characters. So I thought that was a really important piece. And lastly, they're talking about Akomi updates. So this is just how they're going to tie in Akomi.
So this is not my side of the house. So Dan, I'm going to let you kind of run with the agenda points here. Do you want to start us out with tokenomics?
Yeah, so well, how about I start? I mean, so obviously, in this quarter, we did achieve one major milestone, which is the complete migration over to immutable and layer 2. That, in itself has basically was the first step for us to really start expanding on all of the, the NFT and the OMI side of things. So moving into Q2, one of the key focuses is to really start building out the OMI and the OUP functions that we've been discussing in previous AMAs and blogs on our Medium channel.
So yeah, they're already looking to. They're already doing all these things. People are like, when this, when that. These NFTs aren't real. Big exchanges are coming. They said Bitmark, OMI to NFT. I mean, come on now. We're early. I think this video, in summary, emphasized how early we actually are, and how quickly all of these things are happening and are going to happen. So I think it's all about staying patient, ignoring the FUD. Thank you for watching this. This has been a little bit longer than I ever imagined. I tried to sum this up, but I mean, an hour video, it's kind of hard to. I probably should just made a video and not clicked on this video next to it and just talked. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment, like. Clues Crypto. Thank you guys.